booties for black girl nerds.
Michael, for your time. I appreciate you very much.
Of course. Good seeing you again. How's everything?
Very good. Thank you. And you?
Good. Doing great.
You look great. This is a beautiful film. A Journal for Jordan it's so moving. It's so touching. And I thought of your series of films that where you're embodying these real life people. How do these stories like A Journal for Jordan enrich you as a performer in ways that fictional characters don't?
I think it's the responsibility and the sense of pride that you have knowing that you're portraying a real person, and the families. Like, you want to do a great job, obviously, for yourself and for the movie, but you want to make their family members proud, Like, I think that's the litmus test. That's the, critics and everything, that's great, that's amazing, of course, but to have his wife and his son, say you did a great job, and that's my dad, that's my husband, and I'm proud. That feels great, So I think that's something that it's a pressure that just makes your approach to it, in moments just hit a little bit harder. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. What I enjoyed about this especially was just the performance extended beyond the words, like your body, the posturing, and just all those subtle nuances. What did you look at? Did you look at just military people as a whole? How did you even come into command of having that very particular posture that military people have?
Going to actually train with drill sergeants and drill instructors, and going to Fort Irwin, and going through a little bit of boot camp, and and watching tons of video and listen to cadence, and there's a certain pride and confidence that you have when you put on those dress blues or your fatigues that they have, and it was and just spending time in it until it becomes second nature, till it becomes a part of you. And then you just, on the day, you just walk it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I thank you. It's been just an honor to watch you continue to expand and grow into these different roles. Thank you for your time again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love that shirt too.
Thank you. I was feeling shouldery, a little bit. Thank you, Michael.
All right.
Hey, Chanté.
Hey, Giandra. Love the hair.
Thank you. I love the everything. You look so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. When I thought of A Journal for Jordan and love stories that I've enjoyed over the years that go beyond romantic love for family and honor. When you think of stories like that you've enjoyed in your past, what do they have in common with A Journal for Jordan?
I think just that fairy tale love story. And the fairy tale doesn't have to be romantic either. A love between friends, a love between family. I just think that hope that fairy tale love stories bring, and the fact that this fairy tale love story was real, gives people that extra little bit of hope that maybe it can really happen.
Mm-hmm. I admire your talent and I envy your resume of co-stars. It is a wonderful position to be in. When you have a project, as you mentioned, it's based on a real story and you're embodying the lives of real people. What is critical to you for nailing the performance?
I always want to be a part of projects that include characters that are layered and that have weight to them, that have a lot of substance, because as an actor, that's what I want to play with. That's what's going to give me the best performance, when I can look at a script and I go, this person is so complex. That's what I like. There's so many ups and downs that I can play with and go through. And because I think that just speaks to the human journey. We as humans, we have our ups and downs. We're happy, we're sad, we're excited, we're angry. And so to be able to move through that and just to be as human as possible, that's what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm. I particularly enjoyed about Dana is that she is independent. She has her own career and she has her own direction in life that she's going. And she doesn't seem very open to the idea of entertaining love. When you think of the fine line between, or the life work balance,
Yeah.
what does that line look like for you? What in your mind is the perfect balance for Dana, for yourself, of work and life and love balance?
I think it's all about loving people for who they are, and who they are includes what they do and how passionate they are about that. And so what worked with Dana and Charles's relationship was Dana was very ambitious. She knew she was on a path. She loved her job. She loved what she was going to do. And she told him straight up, I'm not going to change this. So you can take it or you can leave it. And he was like, I'm staying because I love you. That means I love what you do. And so that story teaches us that we don't have to compromise, or we don't have to choose, one or the other. We can have both.
Mhm. There's a kind of an old adage that for girls, our first love is our dad. And
Yeah.
in this instance, that wasn't exactly the path Dana wanted to go. What do you think ultimately resonated with Dana, the character, that made her even open to becoming involved with someone so like what she didn't want in her romantic life?
Yeah, I mean, Dana had a bit of a complicated relationship with her father. And so she always tried to stay away from men who were like him, who had things in common. And that main thing was that he was a soldier. Her father was a soldier. And she just knew she didn't want that, because she thought that, most soldiers were the same. And also she had suffered heartbreak from other guys as well. So when Charles had came into her life, she wasn't really looking for anyone. And also he was a soldier, so she wasn't trying to give him the time of day, but she did. And I think, she learned her lesson that sometimes you have to say yes, even when you think you should say no.
All you got to do is say yes.
Okay.
Well, I thank you for your time. You were wonderful. You were so romantic, and I love the projects that
Thank
you're in.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, both of you, for your time. I appreciate it.
Hi, thank you.
The pleasure is mine. Dana, I'm going to begin with you. This is such a deeply personal story to you. Is there something you could point to in the journal that led you to think, I need to take this beyond our family circle and just share this insight and wisdom with everyone who is suffering?
I was so proud of him. And I thought, I have to share this one so that people understand the importance of defining your own legacy. But also, I wanted the world to know about his heroism, his patriotism, and that while he was in the midst of leading these soldiers into battle, he was thinking every night when he came back from these combat missions, what do I want to say to my child? And I thought that's such a unique and special and beautiful thing that I wanted to share it.
I'm so happy that you did. I was moved greatly. It was emotional, it was touching. I felt like I learned some things. Denzel, over to you. You have such a beautiful legacy of doing films in the military space. Through all that wisdom that you've learned in those different roles, how do you think those have helped you direct this film, taking all of those different experiences?
I trained at, we filmed the military base and the Iraqi stuff at Fort Irwin. I actually trained at Fort Irwin for a film called Courage Under Fire. So yeah, all of those films helped me to better, and preparation for those films, where I would go to boot camp, and it made me appreciate what these soldiers do and how hard it really is, and what real fear is, so I am committed to lifting them up. I think that our story lifts up soldiers, lifts up real heroes, lifts up real love, sacrifice, attention to detail, and the future ultimately with that boy, with Jordan. He's the future. He was there last night with his little bow tie on. We're passing the baton.
I love this. There were so many things to love about the film, and particularly lifting up Black military families, because sometimes that goes overlooked. as a whole. As we are on the eve of the film being released widely, Dana, how do you feel? Are you nervous? Are you excited? What do you feel inside?
I'm proud. I'm excited. I'm not nervous at all. We tried to do God's work with this prayerfully. I think we've accomplished something that's going to be meaningful to people for a very long time. But it's also a funny movie. It's entertaining. It's uplifting. I think it's a perfect holiday movie for families to see together.
It is. I thank you. I cried. I ugly cried in the theater. It was.
You say you ugly cried.
I did.
What's
It
the
was-
ugly cry?
It was like it wasn't the pretty cry, but I thank you for that. You need
Thank
that
you.
sometimes. Thank you both.
Sometimes we need the ugly cry.
Thank you.
Real,
So if you need an ugly cry this holiday season,
call Jay. Call Jay. Thank you so much, you guys.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.